Football changed. The rules changed. The calendars expanded. Contracts became strategic weapons. Social media turned teenagers into brands before they became professionals. Scouting became global. Pressure became constant. Expectations became immediate. But one thing remains absolutely unchanged. Time is still the greatest judge of all. In an era where young players are labeled before they mature, where headlines are written before careers are built, where urgency suffocates process, silence has become rare in football. And strangely, necessary, because some careers are not built to explode. They are built to last. And that's where the story of Lukas Zuccarello begins. Not as a phenomenon, not as a savior, not as an instant solution, but as something much harder to find in modern football. A player under construction. When we talk about youth development at Vasco da Gama, we're not talking about academy structure alone. We're talking about identity. Vasco is a club shaped by midfielders. If you've followed Brazilian football long enough, you know this. The rhythm of Vasco has often started in the middle. Roberto Dinamite began there before becoming legend. Juninho Pernambucano dictated games from there. Felipe thought the game from there. Philippe Coutinho emerged from there. At Vasco, every attacking midfielder carries something invisible. History. And history waits. Not publicly, not officially, but emotionally. And Zuccarello grows inside that weight. Zuccarello didn't arrive surrounded by hype. He wasn't marketed as the next star. He wasn't sold as a generational jewel. In September 2022, arriving from Sport Recife, he joined Vasco as a bet, not a promise. And that changes everything. Because when you are not introduced as the answer, you are allowed to become one. Lukas Zuccarello is Italo-Brazilian. That detail matters more than it seems. On one side, Brazilian creativity. On the other, Italian tactical literacy. He doesn't play pure improvisation, but he's not rigid. There is freedom with responsibility, creativity with awareness, talent with discipline. For those who have watched football for decades, this profile stands out. Because players like this rarely burn fast. They evolve. Technically, he's an attacking midfielder. But that label is incomplete. He plays centrally, but drifts wide, drops deep, appears between lines. He has close control, composed ball carrying, early vision. But what defines him most isn't technical. It's temporal. He does not rush. He doesn't force plays to impress. He doesn't play against the clock. In a sport addicted to urgency, Zuccarello plays as if he understands something others forget. The match doesn't end in the next action. For a young player, that's rare and dangerous, because patience in modern football is often misunderstood as passivity. At Vasco, every attacking midfielder eventually faces the same silent mirror. Philippe Coutinho. Not because they are identical. They are not. Coutinho was more explosive, more aggressive in tight spaces, more direct toward goal. Zuccarello is more cerebral. He organizes before accelerating. He connects before finishing. Coutinho resolved. Zuccarello connects. That difference is massive. But comparisons are inevitable. And comparisons are traps. Because they create expectation of destiny, not respect for process. Zuccarello made his professional debut in 2025. It was treated as a milestone, not a coronation. Soon after, he returned to the U-20 squad for the Brazilian Championship. Not as regression, as protection. That decision says something about Vasco's current awareness. A career is not built on a debut clip. It is built on rhythm, confidence, physical adaptation. And this is where the real test begins. The jump from youth to professional football is not technical. It is physiological. At youth level, there is time, space, margin for error. At professional level, every second is contested. Every touch is pressed. Every decision is judged immediately. Zuccarello's game is built on reading, control, correct choice, but professional football demands contact resistance, off-ball intensity, repeated high-speed actions. This doesn't develop overnight, and here lies his most important challenge. Physical attributes can be built. Mental structure rarely can, and Zuccarello has structure. He doesn't panic under pressure. He doesn't overcompensate physically. He doesn't abandon his identity to survive. Many young players, when overwhelmed by pace, begin playing against their own nature. He hasn't, but adaptation is still necessary. The balance is delicate. Do not lose what makes you unique, but add what makes you competitive. That balance defines European-level careers. In January 2025, Vasco renewed his contract until 2028. Quietly, no fireworks, but strategically clear. You matter, but we respect your timing. Few clubs send that message, and fewer players receive it without distortion. Because here comes the uncomfortable question. Does silence protect, or does it delay? At what point does patience become stagnation? Professional football does not wait forever. And at some stage, Zuccarello will need to sustain performance, not just show glimpses. Every player in this phase faces three dangers: environmental impatience, external anxiety, excessive self-criticism. If any of these dominate the process, careers fracture. So far, Vasco appears cautious. Controlled exposure, measured minutes, gradual integration. This is not lack of ambition. It is career management. Now we expand the lens. Because the real question isn't just whether Zuccarello becomes important at Vasco. It's whether his profile fits the modern European ecosystem. And surprisingly, it might fit better there than in Brazil. European football today values positional intelligence, decision efficiency, spatial awareness, tempo control. Not every league is built for explosive dribblers. Some are built for organizers. Let's break it down. In La Liga, midfielders who control rhythm are still fundamental. Clubs like Real Sociedad, Villarreal, Girona, Real Betis value players who connect phases. Zuccarello's profile aligns naturally with possession-based systems. He is not chaotic. He is interpretative. In Spain, that has value. Given his dual heritage, Italy becomes even more logical. Serie A has evolved, is more physical now, but it still rewards tactical intelligence. Midfielders who understand space between lines thrive there. He would need physical growth, but stylistically, it fits. Italy develops cerebral midfielders, and Zuccarello already thinks that way. Portugal might be the most realistic European pathway. Clubs like Braga, Sporting, Benfica, Vitória SC have a history of refining technical midfielders. The Portuguese league offers tactical discipline, European exposure, market visibility, without the brutal intensity of England. For a player who builds gradually, that matters. The Premier League is the ultimate filter. Could he survive there? Eventually, yes, but not immediately. The Premier League demands high-speed repetition, constant duels, minimal reaction time. If Zuccarello reaches England, it will not be as a raw talent. It will be as a matured connector. This is important. Zuccarello will not trend on social media with 5 dribbles per game. He won't be the highlight machine. He is the type of player coaches trust. And in Europe, coaches influence careers more than hype does. Let's remove fantasy. Zuccarello is not projected as a Ballon d'Or contender, and that is liberating. His realistic ceiling? A high-level European midfielder who sustains 8 to 10 years in a top 5 league. Consistent, intelligent, reliable. Players like that are rare and expensive. Everything returns to time. He has age on his side, contract security, gradual exposure. But time only benefits those who use it correctly. If 2026 becomes the consolidation year, it won't come with noise. It will come with better physical endurance, longer stretches of consistent minutes, sharper defensive contribution, no fireworks, just growth. And sometimes that's exactly what lasts. It needs sustainability. The sport is full of early peaks, burned prospects, collapsed expectations. What it lacks are players who mature quietly. Zuccarello represents that possibility. Not certainty, possibility. Football changed. Money changed it. Media accelerated it. Data dissected it. But time still exposes everything. Some players explode. Some disappear. And some build. Lukas Zuccarello is still building. And in a sport obsessed with immediacy, that might be his greatest advantage. If you value football beyond headlines, if you understand that careers are shaped by context, timing, and structure, subscribe to the channel. Here we don't chase noise. We analyze trajectory. And tell me, should Zuccarello be given more minutes now? Or is patience still the smartest investment? Because in modern football, talent opens doors, but time decides who stays inside.